Next week, the U.S. panel investigating the Gulf oil spill is set to publish its report on the reasons for the disaster. Early excerpts from the study show that BP, along with its contractors and government regulators, were apparently to blame for the blast. The co-chairman of the panel, Bill Reilly, said today, though, that BP made most of the mistakes. Lizzie O'Leary asked him if BP was grossly negligent.
BP was irresponsible and I think to a significant degree incompetent with respect to several major decisions that were made in the rig, some of which we don't understand, and some of the people who made these decisions are no longer alive. It's something we've been sensitive to in the whole course of the investigation. For example, how do you decide that a negative pressure test, which is supposed to determine whether your cement is holding down there, and your cement, if the BOP doesn't work, is the only barrier to the blowout. How do you decide when you get clear evidence that it's not holding, that it's okay to go ahead? You have something from the drill line that says it is, and you decide to ignore what's coming up in the drill pipe, or rather the kill line versus the drill pipe. It seems to me, inexplicable for a competent operator with the experience that BP has had. Very hard to explain, and not defensible.
But negligent?
I won't use the word negligent because it's a term of law, and I'll let the courts and the Justice Department make that decision.
Are you all sharing your research with the Justice Department?
We're sharing everything we have with the Justice Department, have from the start, and they've shared materials with us as well.
Let me ask you about the industry overall. You wrote an addendum that goes along with this chapter where you essentially say, I have connections with the industry, I know them well. I initially wanted to think, or maybe that's too strong, initially thought maybe this was one rogue operator that just wasn't as good as the others. You've changed your mind a bit. Why, and what does that tell you about how the industry should be regulated?
Well, I came into this commission thinking that, familiar with BP's history, which is not an impressive history with respect to safety. Explosion in Texas City in 2005, 5,000 barrels spilled in Alaska on the snows up there a year later. And so I had a predisposition that probably this was a company that simply was challenged by process safety, and it was. Let's make that clear. However, if you look at Halliburton, which operates virtually all over the world, everywhere there are hydrocarbons in the oceans that are being drilled, or Transocean, which is the largest owner of rigs, drilling rigs, you see they made egregious mistakes. Not defensible positions either, not as many as BP did, and ultimately the operator was responsible for what happened on that rig. But if these widely active, involved, internationally respected companies also made those kinds of mistakes, you got a problem, and you got a problem that's a lot larger than one company.
Those are all nice words for this, but aren't you essentially saying that these companies, and BP in particular, sacrifice lives for profit?
I'm saying that they certainly made decisions that no doubt in their minds were made to improve efficiency and to save time, and those no doubt did, as you suggest, have the consequence of saving money too. I simply won't go so far as to say there was that direct trade-off. I won't impute that motive.
And that was co-chairman of the BP panel, Bill Reilly.